Review and approve recommendation to the board, a risk management policy and plan developed by management. The risk policy and plan are reviewed annually. Monitor implementation of the risk policy and plan, ensuring an appropriate enterprise-wide risk management system is in place with adequate and efficient processes that include strategy. Make recommendations to the board on risk indicators, levels of risk tolerance and appetite. Monitor that risks are reviewed by management. Ensure risk management assets are performed regularly by management. Issue a formal opinion to the board on effectiveness of the system and process of risk management. Review reporting on risk management that is to be included in the integrated annual report. Review annually the charters of the group, significant subsidiary companies, risk committees, and they are devolved primarily to the nomination committee, although the committee's deliberations are reported to and debated by the full board. The board itself also regularly reviews more general succession planning for the senior management of the group. There
is no information documented.
Hi.
Okay, thanks. You can proceed.
Corporate Governance Committee. Together, the Audit and Compensation Committees, the Nominating Corporate Governance Committee rounds out the 3 standing committees of the Public Companies Board of Directors. It plays a critical role in overseeing matters of corporate governance for the board, including formulating and recommending governance principles and policies. As its name implies, this committee is charged with enhancing the quality of nominees to the board and ensuring the integrity of the nominating process. Given the recent focus on the board composition and diversity, director elections, and proxy access, the role of nominating corporate governance committee is in the spotlight. I'm going to run some additions, subtractions. The Ethics Committee, the roles include contribute to the continuing definition of the organizational ethics and compliance standards and procedures. Assume responsibility for overall compliance with those standards and procedures. Oversee the use of due care in delegating discretionary responsibility. Communicate the organization ethics and compliance standards and procedures, ensuring the effectiveness of the communication. Monitor and audit compliance. Oversee enforcement, including the assurance that discipline is uniformly applied. Takes the steps necessary to ensure that the organization learns from its experiences. But an ethics committee can do much more. The committee can be charged to meet all 7 requirements for an effective ethics management process. For each of the above arenas of responsibility, there may be several specific roles. So in conclusion, the committee's focus the committees focus accountability to non-groups, while the board as a legal unit always retains responsibility for the work of its committees. The committees, because of its focus on the mandate, the size of the committee being relatively smaller than the board, tend to be more effective. However, committee may dilute governance integrity to the extent that they may obscure the direct board to CEO accountability and fragment the board's wholeness. Therefore, it is important that there is clarity of the delegation, and it should be ensured that the committees are not put between the board and the CEO, either by giving committees official instructional authority or by allowing them to evaluate the performance using their own criteria. So any additions, subtractions, please?
I can see Lakson Chikwara said nominating committees often consist of the chair of the board, the deputy chair, and the company's CEO. That is the addition that I got from Lakson.
Okay. Thank you, Lakson.
Okay, thank you very much, Rainbow and team, for the research. Just kindly add the few items on composition for each of those committees and then share with Nancy for compilation. I wanted to check, colleagues, did the team do justice to the question, or do we have any other people who have anything to add before we move on to the next presenters?
I wanted to remind the team, Pepe Professor vakati vanoda ka structure vane kamuanziro kavanonzwa kudekedzerwa nako kekuti introduction definition of words tozopinda paboard tozonodini kudii neka approach kavakati vanoda sana chingoti kana tichikwanisa tikangoita tichingodiyo chingobatsirana boss paripo pambe kuti question unosingaoni kuti ndiri kudefine chi because mawords acho anenge asingatombodefine saka I think chikiri chinoda kuti tibatsirane.
Okay, thank you very much, Wendy, for that. But these guys, they actually gave us an introduction. And also for the other presenters, it's possible you may not have included maybe the definition of terms, but you can mention that these terms should be defined, something like that. It's okay, we move on to the next presenters. Question number 1. Do we have colleagues who are ready to present on that one? Or Mujaji, are you ready to present for your group?
Yes, we can present. Marilyn.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, take over and share your screen.
Thank you. Over to you, Marilyn.
Good day to you all.
Who is paused to mute? So who is paused to mute Ernest? You can go ahead, Marilyn.
Hi. Please kindly confirm. Kuti question paper ratiri kuita iri kai. I'm really sorry. But my questions are nachinzwa achipindurwa apa ndiri kuona kunge ndofunga tinenge tarasika. Chiita question paper rakanzi October 2019.
Yes, you are very right.
Whoa. Okay. Because number 1 yacho.
Number 2.
Alright. Andiri kumbotry hangu kushare my screen. Okay. Sorry for the delay. All right, screen yacho na iri kuuya hayo. Do you see anything? Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, now we can see it. Maybe we can just need to enlarge by clicking on the plus sign. Kama 100 hapo kapa click hapo kama tukuri vijana, that would be okay.
Okay. How is this?
It's too big. Yeah, now it's okay.
All right, it's okay. So, question yedanga tichita yakanzi discuss the 4 pillars of corporate governance and their importance in the corporate governance framework. So, I'll just briefly read through the introduction. So, we're saying corporate governance is the process of governing the corporate creation of corporate policies while keeping the vision and mission in mind, also while catering to the interests of all stakeholders, including shareholders, employees, government, suppliers, customers, creditors, management, etc. In corporate governance, in its simplest sense, whereas basically we're just introducing corporate governance as a whole. Then we're saying, after all this, we are saying corporate governance, for it to be successful, we operate on the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are the transparency, accountability, responsibility, and fairness. So when you're talking about transparency now, considering it's an organization, right? We have these various stakeholders, Aripo. So we have shareholders, Aripo, we have employees, and every other stakeholder. These people, for example, my shareholders, they invested their money in the organization. So they would need to know what Maria Verushanda say. So there's need for closure, like disclosure of, say, kind of a financial status in an organization, maybe quarterly, or I don't know, in an organization. So it's necessary for us to include transparency in an organization for it to function properly, so that my shareholders, or any other various stakeholders that we have, business. I hope that's understood. So I'll just read through. The corporate governance framework should ensure that timely and accurate disclosure. Yeah, apart from just disclosing, it has to be accurate. It also has to be timely. And for it to be accurate, employees, let's say, finance, you all have to work together to be able to provide information that is accurate and also make it timely, like whenever and wherever it's needed. You guys, we need to see what's going on in the organization. You should be able to produce the information, or rather, even if it's scheduled, information you didn't know provide, let's say quarterly, monthly, or whatever. You need to be able to do that as an organization. So we move on to accountability. So about accountability now, we're saying every other member, the shareholders and all, they need to be accountable. Like, let's say we can do segregation of my duties and so I tell no approve let's say I no approve on a trip is not the same person and samari. Like, so that we get the transparency in engage abuse of power. I don't know if that's understandable. Let's say the employees should be accountable, let's say, to the managers. The managers should be accountable to the CEOs, and the CEO should be accountable to the board of directors. Like Ichidaro hierarchy. So that hapaitike kuti tomotikana pani duality pai pandite. If I'm the CEO and I'm the board chair, ndinokwanisa kuita ndikada kuti kuzviisira mari yakawanda ndini, embezzlement of funds can happen kana tisina that accountability and separation of duties. Then also, we talk of fairness. For fairness now, we're saying that everyone in the organization or every other stakeholder, they should be treated equally. We have my shareholders, they are different. Panama majority shareholders, I have an organization. And also we have my minority shareholders. So these people were saying they should be treated equally. So there's a beauty of it. Even ukatreatwa equally in an organization, to my ideas are to the organization yaoni ma shares to. It keeps you happy. So it's good to keep our shareholders happy, as well as my employees. They should be treated equally too. So that's what we talk about when you talk of fairness. So we're saying the corporate governance framework should protect shareholder rights and to ensure the equitable treatment of all stakeholders, including minority and foreign shareholders. Yeah, we have other foreign shareholders, but we're not saying that these people, their say should not matter. And it's because Mariabo iri more in the organization, so we should also consider whatever they say or their input to whatever that is going on in the organization. Then we're saying fairness allows for equitable treatment of stakeholders inside and out. That is equitable treatment to the society as well. It is important for a company to give equitable treatment to all stakeholders and not merely the major shareholders, like what I was saying. Even the employees and the minority shareholders should be treated fairly. Then the fourth now and the last pillar of corporate governance is responsibility. So now responsibility, we're saying an effective system of corporate governance must strive to channel its self-interests of managers, directors, and the advisors upon whom they rely into alignment with corporate shareholder in public interests. Then the board of directors are given authority to act on behalf of the company. This is important. They should therefore accept full responsibility for the powers that is given and authority that it exercises. That means corporate governance in my objectives. And one of the other objectives is we need to eliminate abuse of power. So we are saying my responsibilities. We are giving the board the responsibility, which is going to take care of the business, and we're trusting it is not going to abuse that power. We're trusting it's going to have us the business, our best interests. And so the board of directors are responsible for overseeing the management of the business affairs of the company, appointing the chief executive and monitoring the performance of the company. So in doing so, it is required to act in the best interest of the company, like what I was saying. The best interest that it is protecting is us, the organization. And therefore, we do not want or we do not hope it abuses that. Then responsibility goes hand in hand with accountability. The board of directors should be made accountable to the shareholders for the way in which the company has carried out its responsibilities. So in conclusion, we're saying companies need to incorporate these four pillars in order for good corporate governance. And then it will help in not only meeting the legal compliances, but also providing other advantages to the company. So through transparency, we incorporate now these four pillars. Transparency helps us to make more informed decisions. Then, and these can be made timely. And segregation of duties will help us in accountability. That's misuse of to be avoided. And also a comfortable working condition for employees can be attained through treating them equally, as well as the minority shareholders, treating them fairly with majority shareholders. Thank you. Any questions? Or pani pada clarify ere kana vada kuwedzera.
Okay, thank you, Madeline and Tim. Any questions, colleagues? I will ask first. I saw somewhere where one of the pillars is independence. I don't know if I saw right, and if so, how would we explain the independence in terms of corporate governance? Maybe it's not necessarily to you, Marilyn and Tim only, but also to the rest of the colleagues.
Urevi nemako ndatombosangana nezvakawanda-wanda zvakadaro. But I just decided to stick to what the lecturer said. Zvazvingoro my notes. I don't know how it will be explained. Vamwe vatoriwo nema-6 pillars, vamwe vane 3. So I don't know how we can incorporate those into the 4 that we learned.
Okay, thank you, Marilyn.
Okay, hello?
Yes, Melvin.
Okay, just on the question that you have asked, Pandaona, independence. Okay, let me just read what it says. It says independence is the quality that can be possessed by individuals and is an essential component of professionalism and professional behavior. So I think it talks much on, it hammers much on professionalism as a behavior to uphold under corporate governance. Okay, so just to Ndudongo some of the things that I've identified, most on shareholders, but not sure. Sorry, maybe I'm not going to go down so I can see the question. But also, when it to corporate governance, we look at any stakeholder and they affected. We look at suppliers, we look at even the customer, so anyone. So if I, for example, we look into issues to do with me, if it's a supplier, one guy the credit worthiness of your company. So then it's very important that you be able to disclose details, a company and my financial statements, so that you will know assess how kuti muri wana no badara square.